My wife's male assistant texted her at the family gathering. "Missing your touch from this morning. Can't wait to replace your dull husband," as she gave her speech about family principles. I calmly connected her phone to the event's screen, and she turned pale when The sound of the ocean was always a lullaby to me, a soothing escape from the cacophony of daily life. But today, as I stood on the edge of the rocky cliff, the waves crashing below seemed to echo the turmoil within. My name is Eric, and at 41, I've come to realize that life isn't just about the calm, but also the storms we weather. I've been married to Laura for 15 years. She's the rock in my life, the one who steadies me when the ground feels like it's slipping away. We've built a life together, a home filled with laughter and love, but also secrets and shadows. Our kids, Sam, who's 12, and Emily, who's 9, are the light of our world. They're growing up so fast, each day bringing new challenges, new joys, and sometimes new heartaches. This morning I found myself staring at the sea, not just for its beauty, but because I needed to think, to reflect. Laura and we've been through a lot. There have been moments of pure bliss, like when we first held our children, their tiny hands gripping our fingers. But there have also been times when the silence between us was louder than any argument, when the unspoken words hung heavy in the air like a thick fog. I remember one evening, not too long ago, when the kids were asleep, and Laura and I sat in the dim light of our living room. The tension was palpable, like static electricity before a storm. We were on the brink of something, a revelation or a rift, I wasn't sure which. It was then I realized how much we needed each other, how our bond, though strained, was the very thing that kept us together. Now, here I am, standing at the back of our family gathering, watching Laura speak with such passion about the values that bind us. Her voice, clear and confident, fills the room, resonating with the love and unity she's describing. I'm near the projector setup, the one we use for family slideshows, feeling a swell of love for her. Our relatives, including my brother Mike, his wife Jenna, and their kids, along with Laura's sister Beth and her family, are all seated, listening intently. The atmosphere is warm, filled with the kind of familial love that Laura is describing. As Laura reaches the climax of her speech, emphasizing the sanctity of marriage, her phone, placed on the table next to the projector, buzzes. It's a loud, intrusive sound in the quiet reverence of her speech. What could be so urgent that it interrupts this moment of family unity? I glance over, my curiosity piqued. Laura pauses, her eyes briefly meeting mine, a silent conversation passing between us. She reaches for her phone, her movements hesitant, as if she's weighing the importance of this interruption against the sanctity of the moment. The room waits, the air thick with anticipation. Laura's thumb hovers over the screen, then she swipes to unlock it. Her expression shifts subtly, a flicker of concern crossing her features before she quickly masks it with a smile. "Sorry, everyone," she says, her voice steady but softer now. "I need to take this. It's important." The room murmurs with understanding. I watch as Laura steps away, her phone pressed to her ear, her voice a low murmur. The room's attention shifts back to the gathering, but my mind is elsewhere. I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Curiosity, or perhaps a sense of dread, propels me forward. I pick up her phone, intending to silence it, but the screen lights up with a message from her assistant, Tom. The words on the screen hit me like a punch to the gut. Missing. Your touch from this morning. Can't wait to replace your dull husband. My heart sinks, but I keep my composure. I've always trusted Laura implicitly, but this message, it's like a cold slap in the face. I glance at Laura, who's now looking at me with a mix of confusion and fear. Without a word, I connect her phone to the projector, and the message is displayed for all to see. The room falls silent. The only sound is the soft hum of the projector. Laura's face goes pale, her words dying in her throat as she realizes what's happening. The air in the room feels charged, like the calm before a storm. My family, our family, watches in stunned silence. I can see the shock on their faces, the questions forming in their minds. Laura steps forward, her voice trembling. Eric, let me explain, she starts, but her words falter. I feel a surge of emotions, anger, betrayal, confusion. But above all, there's a deep, aching sadness. Explain what, Laura? I ask, my voice steady but cold. That you've been sharing more than just office space with Tom? She looks down, her eyes filling with tears. It's not what you think, she whispers, but the damage is done. The trust we've built over years, the foundation of our marriage, feels like it's crumbling beneath us. My brother Mike stands up, his face set in a hard line. Laura, if there's something you need to tell us, now's the time, he says, his voice firm, protective. Laura wipes her eyes, taking a deep breath. The silence is deafening. Family members exchange shocked glances, their faces a mix of disbelief and concern. Laura tries to speak, her voice shaky. Eric, I can explain, but her words trail off as she sees the hurt in my eyes. Beth, Laura's sister, stands up, her voice firm. Laura, what is this? The room waits for an explanation, but none comes. Instead, Laura's eyes fill with tears, and she looks at me, pleading. For understanding, I feel a mix of betrayal and a strange calm. I've always believed in transparency, and now the truth is out, stark and undeniable. Laura's voice breaks the silence. It was a mistake, Eric. I was weak, and I'm so sorry. Her words hang in the air, heavy with the weight of her confession. Look at her, trying to reconcile the woman I've loved for years with the one standing before me now. A mistake? I echo, my voice hollow. How long has this been going on? She hesitates, her gaze dropping to the floor. Just a few weeks. I swear it's over now. I ended it before today. My brother Mike steps forward, his protective instincts kicking in. Laura, you've got to understand. This isn't just about Eric. This affects all of us, the whole family. Laura nods, tears streaming down her face. I know, Mike. I know. I never meant for it to go this far. It was just a moment of weakness. I can't help but feel the sting of her words. A moment of weakness, I repeat, the phrase tasting bitter. And what about our vows, Laura? What about the promises we made to each other? She looks up, her eyes meeting mine, filled with a mix of regret and desperation. I love you, Eric. I love our family. I made a terrible mistake, but I want to fix this. I want to make it right. The room is thick with tension, the air almost palpable with the collective breath of our family, waiting for my response. I feel the eyes of our family on me, each one silently urging me to make a decision, to say something, anything, that would mend the broken pieces of our family. Laura finally finds her voice. Eric, it's not what you think. Tom he's been inappropriate, and I've been trying to handle it without causing a scene at work. Her words are desperate, but the damage is palpable. I look around at our family, their expressions ranging from pity to anger. My brother, Mike, steps forward. Eric, what do you want to do? I take a deep breath, the weight of the moment heavy on my shoulders. I think we need some time apart, I say, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. Laura's face crumples, but I can't unsee the message, can't unfeel the betrayal. The room is silent, the projector still casting the damning words onto the wall. I feel the need to step away, to clear my head, to think without the weight of everyone's gaze. I'm going for a walk, I announce, my voice barely above a whisper. As I step outside, the cool night air hits my face, a stark contrast to the heat of the room I just left. The ocean, once a source of comfort, now mirrors the chaos in my heart. I walk along the cliff's edge, the sound of the waves a constant reminder of the turmoil within. I think about our life together, the years of building something beautiful, now tainted by this revelation. The trust, once unshakable, feels like it's been eroded by the sea below, washed away with each crashing wave. My mind races with questions. How could she let this happen? Was I blind to the signs? And what about our children? How will this affect them? What once was? The counselor, a gentle woman with eyes that seem to see too much, guides us through exercises meant to rebuild trust. I find a bench overlooking the sea and sit down, the cold wood a grounding force. I pull out my phone, my fingers hovering over Laura's contact, but I can't bring myself to call. Instead, I text Mike, asking him to make sure Laura and the kids are okay, that they have somewhere to stay tonight. The reply comes quickly. As the gathering disperses, the air is heavy with unspoken words, and the somber mood lingers like a thick fog. Laura leaves with Beth, who wraps an arm around her, promising to help sort things out. I stay behind, cleaning up with Sam and Emily. They're too young to fully grasp the gravity of what's happened, but they sense the tension, their eyes wide with confusion and a hint of fear. In the days that follow, Laura and I agree to counseling, not just for us, but for our children. Trust, once broken, is hard to mend, but we owe it to our family to try. The path to rebuilding trust is uncertain, filled with questions about forgiveness, love, and the true meaning of family values. As I sit alone in our now quiet house, I reflect on the irony of the situation. Laura's speech on family values was supposed to be about unity, but instead it exposed a fracture. Yet, in this moment of truth, there's also a chance for healing, for understanding, and perhaps for a stronger bond. Can a family truly heal from such a betrayal, or will the scars remain forever? The days stretch into weeks, and each session with the counselor feels like walking through a minefield. Laura and I sit side by side, yet worlds apart, our hands occasionally brushing, a reminder of we talk about our feelings, our fears, and the moments that led to the fracture. Laura speaks of her loneliness, her need for validation, and the mistake that spiraled out of control. I listen, trying to understand, to forgive. But the hurt is a constant companion, whispering doubts in my ear. Our children, Sam and Emily, attend their own sessions, where they learn about emotions, about how sometimes adults make mistakes, and how love can still exist amidst pain. They ask questions, their innocence piercing through the fog of our adult complications. One evening, after a particularly intense session, Laura and I sit in our living room, the silence between us less oppressive than before. She reaches out, "Don't." Forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.